So hi Philip, what brings you here today?
Hi Libby, apart
Hi.
from you and your invitation and the weather, actually I've been suspended from my work.
Really?
Yeah,
Why were you suspended?
so I was suspended after I raised the concern, to me a very serious concern about information that is on our charity's website. So I work for a charity for children with cerebral palsy and adults with cerebral palsy. But I'm particularly concerned about the information about vaccines for children on our website. And so I raised this as a serious concern, not just because that the information is there, but because the information that is there is has been cut and pasted from a number of other websites, and therefore doesn't gives different information from the actual separate organizations that put out this information. So instead of saying vaccines for children do this, there are in some circumstances some side effects. These are the side effects and so forth. All is mentioned is basically vaccines are safe, and there is no really any reason to be worried about vaccines unless you have a very severe allergy. So these sentences are on some of these websites, but they've been taken out of context and pasted onto our website, and without balance, in my view. So I raised this concern directly with my CEO, and I put it in a succinct email but clear, and send it to her, and at the end of a day, of a working day, and said goodbye, see you tomorrow. But as my CEO received the email in her inbox, she said, Philippe, come into my office, and she said, I just received your email. I said, okay, assuming that she would read it and then we could discuss it the next day. No, she said, I just received your email, and I'm just letting you know I will not be taking that information off the website. And I said, well, do you not want to read the email first and then we can discuss it? No, I will not be reading your email, and I won't do any more discussion around this, and I will not take this off the website. I said, well, I propose that this is out of your depth because you're not a clinician, and this is beyond your scope. This doesn't come from me, she said. This comes from the government, from the NHS, and the board has agreed to this. And I said, well, I have ethically, I cannot be silent about this. So then my CEO basically warned me. She said, be very careful, Philippe. And I said, is this a threat? She said, no, I'm telling you this as a friend. I said, what are you telling me? I'm warning you because if you take this further, there will be a clash. Okay, I said, well, I'm sorry, but, and then she said, you can take it to the board. I said, I will. And in effect, I'd already considered copying in the chairman of the board, but I thought, no, I will try and resolve this internally. But clearly, this was a suggestion from herself to take it to the board. So I said I will, and she warned me once again, there will be a clash, Philippe, if you take this further. I said, Stephanie, ethically, professionally and personally, I cannot be silent about this. I just can't be. So yeah, I wrote my email to the board, including the email I had sent to my CEO. I had also included the staff member who's responsible for the web content on our website, and I included all my therapy colleagues. That's all the clinicians. Got a very small team, so there's only 5 therapy colleagues. There's only about 20 people in total on our charity, so it's very, very small charity. I emailed all the board members, there's 11 of them, and laid out very clearly, these are my concerns, please consider this with the merit and the concern that it deserves, because clearly Stephanie did not want to do this, and therefore I'm asking you to look into this. So, and actually the next day I got an email back from the chairman saying, Philippe, we received your email about your concerns about vaccines for children, and we will convene a meeting on Tuesday. So this was Friday. I received that email the following, I've received this email on the Friday, and he said on this Tuesday we will convene a meeting with all the board members, and I'll revert back to you after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened then?
So after that, I've been waiting for a week basically. I knew when the board meeting, when the board was going to meet. Looked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I sent this email from my work email. I received nothing. Kept checking my phone, my home phone, my mobile phone. No messages. It came to Monday. Still nothing.
Is that the following Monday?
The following Monday.
Okay.
So I was in work the Tuesday, the Thursday that week. But my CEO was off that week, so she was on annual leave, so I didn't see her all that week. Monday came, nothing. On Tuesday was back at work, so I went into work on Tuesday morning. I was there first, and I could not get into my emails, could not get onto the network.
Wow.
So it said your password isn't correct, and I've been using that password for the last few months. It always says when you have to change your password. I did not get any messages like that. So I knew exactly what the password was, because I've been in between working from home sometimes, so it's regularly used. So something was up. My colleague Petra arrived soon after that. I said, I can't get into the network. Have you got any trouble getting in? No, I haven't got any trouble getting in. So then I received a phone call. In fact, my phone rang at work. I picked it up and they hung up immediately. Okay, and a minute later the phone rang again. This was the person who arranges our appointments downstairs. Said, there's a phone call for you, Philippe. Okay, I picked up the phone, and it was Stephanie on the phone, my CEO, and she said, Philippe, you should have received an email. Have you not received an email from the chairman of the board? I said, no, I've received nothing. I've been looking out for communication all week. Have received no phone call, no text, no email. Oh, well, you should have received an email. I will double check your email address. Can you tell me your email address? So double check the email address seemed to be correct. Maybe you should check your junk folder, she said. And I said, well, what's going on? She said, well, you've been asked to stay at home while they look into this. Look into what? While the board asked you to stay at home while they look into your conduct. Sorry, I said. Look
Your
into
conduct.
my conduct. Where is this coming from? After you, so we had a board meeting about this on Tuesday, and this is what the board decided. I said, you were in on the meeting on Tuesday about my grievance that concerned you. Thank you very much. That is noted. So it was a silence, a notable silence after that. And then she said, well, the board has raised concerns about your conduct. I said, where did this come from? I raised the grievance, and now this has turned into a disciplinary. Am I being suspended? No, you're not being suspended. You've been asked to stay at home while this is getting investigated. I said, well, am I working from home? Well, you won't have access to your files or your emails. You've been asked to stay at home. So I said, I'm being suspended. No, you're not being suspended. You've been asked to stay at home while this is being looked into. I said, well, it sounds to me, since I can't work, I'm not allowed to be at work from what you're saying. I can't work from home. It sounds like I'm being suspended. I think this is unlawful, Stephanie. I think I'm being suspended for suspicion of my of misconduct without any warning. As a reaction, I would now call it maybe a knee-jerk reaction to a grievance I raised. I'm not sure this is lawful. So she said, well, you need to go home and read your email. And that was the end of that phone call. So that's where I was, kind of
Did the
half an
email
hour after.
did the email explain a little bit more?
So, email from the chairman said, we have looked into this matter, Philippe, and we cannot detect anything on our website that seems to be not saying anything out with what the government's guidelines are. In effect, we think that your accusations are without merit, and actually we want you to retract your accusations immediately. And then, interestingly, the last paragraph of the email was in a different font, so it was clear that the first part of the email was written quite, fluently, and then there was a problem with how they were going to end the email, and they needed some advice from somewhere, I guess. And so in the last paragraph it talked about my conduct, and that I had been asked by my CEO not to send any more emails to my colleagues. This is my therapy colleagues with whom I always share clinical information, and we're a critically appraising team, so we share information and for discussion. So I send them information with concerns about vaccines, as there seems to be something that is being talked about quite a lot on our website, in the office. So because of what I know, I share things. So I was asked not to share them anymore. I said, actually, after the things I had shared, I had said everything I needed to say. But I said to Stephanie, this, she said, so you did this again. I said, this is very different. This concerns children. Before, it was about people who can choose to find information and consent. Children do not have the same access to information, and so the consent relies on their parent to inform them. And even consent for them. So this is a very different matter. So then it also explained, you posted a couple of things on the Works Facebook page. So we have contacted your employer in London, and they have declined to take this matter further. So we have therefore contacted your regulatory body, the Health and Care Professions Council, and we are waiting on them to get back to us with further advice.
Okay. So where are you now in terms of your company's grievance procedure or the policy?
So in the meantime, I have contacted my employer, the Bobart Centre. That was the last sentence in the email I received from the chairman. If you have any issues with any of this, contact your employer in London. So this is what I've done. I first spoke to a clinician there who said she could not talk to me, and then I said, well, I had a grievance which is not really been dealt with, seems to have turned into a disciplinary matter without any warning, with a suspension. I think there was no reference to any of the policies. I think this is not gone according to policy or procedure, and I would like this to be looked into. Who do I speak to? So then this person texted me email of the CEO of the London Centre, and when I sent her email with including the 2 emails concerning and information about the concern about my conduct and what they were referring to, actually the CEO got back to me almost immediately. The same day she emailed me back, said, Philippe, I'm sorry, you must be really quite concerned. I'm so sorry this has escalated to the extent that it has. I thought this would be dealt with internally. So I will look into this matter. I will, with your permission, I will forward your email to HR, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
So this was, what day are we today? We are back on Thursday. So this was Tuesday, I think. Then I got an email quite late last night from a CEO in London saying, I'm very sorry, Philippe. I've had to, this matter had to be escalated to a more senior team in the HR department, and I am meeting with a senior member tomorrow morning, and I will revert back to you after that. So literally I got a phone call about half an hour ago today from the CEO in London, who had that senior member of the HR team present, and she said, Philippe, how are you? I said, okay. Yeah, I don't know if we've met before, Philippe. I said, yeah, we've met briefly once when I came down to Watford for helping out on a course. She said, yeah, it was early days for me then, and quite a while ago. How are you, Philippe? I said, yeah, I feel astounded, and I feel disappointed. Also, have had no communication since Tuesday from my CEO or the chairman, and I normally should be working today as well. So also, I think policy has not been followed. And I said also, Stephanie told me herself that she was in on a meeting about a grievance I raised concerning her. I think that she said, you think that shouldn't have happened. Said no. I think that's not according to grievance policy. And I actually looked on both the London website, our sister organisation's websites in England and Wales, and neither of those websites have anything on their websites about vaccines. Not vaccines for adults, not vaccines for children. I checked their social media channels as well. There's no post, nothing about vaccines at all. So this encouraged me to, and I said this to the CEO in London, that what I'm asking for is not impossible, and really should be considered. And I do not believe this be completely without merit that I raise this concern.
And do they have any other kind of information about other medical issues or procedures or anything like that?
No, this is something else I raised in my email to the chairman, is that we are very careful not to endorse any medical product. So
or procedure.
Yes.
Yes.
So why would we put any information about vaccines
Absolutely.
on our website? I suggested that if we put anything on, that you have to be transparent and put everything on.
Yes.
Or you just put a link on, or links to these organizations, or simply state if you have any questions about vaccines, this is the government website, or please speak to your GP.
Absolutely.
She said, well, we want to take this matter further as quickly as possible, so we're proposing to meet on Monday over Zoom. She said, I'm actually in Ireland at the moment. I'm on holiday, and so we have to do this via video. So we can meet on Monday at 2 p.m. If you got a computer. I said yes. Or will you send me a link? So that's where we are at.
So it seems very complicated to me. So are you being? Is this being treated as a grievance against you or a disciplinary matter? What is it exactly being communicated to you?
So actually, the CEO in London said, no, suspension doesn't mean that you've been disciplined. So it just gives both parties a time for to look into the matter. Doesn't mean that there will be any disciplinary action.
But is that normal policy to require you to stay at home before any face-to-face meetings to explain things?
Well, I know that in our previous policies, a few years ago, definitely when I started, nearly 20 years ago, that you could only be suspended if there was suspicion of gross misconduct.
Yes.
Now, our policy was changed, I think a couple of years ago, only 3 years at the most, when all the guidelines were changed in terms of confidentiality, etc. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even mention gross misconduct anymore within the whole policy. So I don't know. It seems to be really a grey area. So open to maybe more. But when I looked up the law on this, it said suspension should only be used when there's gross misconduct, or when there's really serious concern, and should only be used reasonably, and should be as minimal as possible. It should not take longer than 5 days.
Right.
So these are all the things I have found about suspension.
So what's your next step?
So I have already contacted also my professional body.
Yes.
I've left a message yesterday. They haven't got back to me, so I emailed them today saying I've got an urgent matter to share with the senior negotiating officer. I have met with this lady before when the same CEO in Scotland tried to seemingly take annual leave of me, and I had to raise that matter.
Right.
This was very swiftly dealt with one of the senior negotiating officers. So I was contacted the same person. I know she job shares with another senior negotiating officer, so I might communicate with either or both of them on this. I've also tried to find some legal advice.
Yes.
So I think I need to look into that, but I have not had any response on that yet.
Okay, so that would be a solicitor who deals with employment law.
Yes.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Well, this all sounds absolutely dreadful, so I wish you very good luck with that. And if there's anything I can do, or anybody that sees this video, please get in touch. Thank you, Philippe.
Thank you.
Thank you.